Imagine sitting in the Academy of Athens 2400 years ago. Around you, the greatest minds in history Socrates, Plato, Aristotle are debating the very nature of existence. They weren't just geniuses, they were pioneers of mental clarity. But while we study their words, we often overlook what actually powered their brains. To these philosophers, the body was the temple of the intellect. They believed that a clouded stomach led to a clouded mind. Pythagoras, for example, was so strict with his diet that he believed certain foods could either sharpen your logic or dull your soul. They claimed that the divine intelligence wasn't just a gift from the gods, it was something you could cultivate through what you ate. For centuries, we thought these philosopher diets were just eccentric habits. But in a massive wave of research starting in the mid-1900s, the data revealed a shocking truth. The specific staples these thinkers obsessed over weren't just traditions, they were biological brain boosters. They believed these foods helped them think clearly. And as it turns out, they were exactly right. Today, we unlock the 10 foods that fueled the smartest people to ever live and why modern science says they are the ultimate smart foods for your brain today. Let's begin. Starting with number 1. In the bustling agora of ancient Athens, there was one fruit that the great thinkers observed more closely than any other. This was the walnut. Ancient Greek healers noticed something profound. The inside of a walnut possessed a strange, intricate shaped grooves and folds that looked exactly like the human brain. Because of this, philosophers believed it was nature's divine signature, a biological message that this food was specifically crafted for intellect and memory. For centuries, scholars dismissed this as just a beautiful myth. But in the late 20th century, researchers discovered that the Greeks were right. The walnut doesn't just look like the brain. It is packed with high-density omega-3 fatty acids and polyphenols that literally build and protect our neural pathways. Socrates believed that this was the ultimate fuel for thought. Modern science finally confirmed it as one of the most powerful brain boosters found in nature. Next that we have is olive oil. Homer famously called it liquid gold, and to the Greek philosophers, it was more than just a source of light or flavor, it was a daily tonic for the mind. Aristotle and his followers believed that consuming pure olive oil kept the internal fires of the brain burning bright, preventing the mental decay that comes with age. While it sounded like ancient folklore, modern data eventually caught up. In a landmark series of studies, researchers found that the unique polyphenols in extra virgin olive oil act as a powerful shield for our neurons. The Greeks claimed it protected their greatest asset, their minds, and they were right. Science now confirms that this liquid gold is one of the most effective natural tools for fighting brain inflammation and preserving memory. The philosophers weren't just eating for survival. They were eating for longevity. The next is wild honey. To the Greeks, wild honey was not just a sweetener. It was the nectar of the gods. Philosophers and students in the academy believed that a spoonful of raw honey provided a divine spark, a sudden burst of mental focus and clarity during their most intense debates. They claimed it could wake the senses and sharpen the logic of even the most exhausted scholar. For centuries, this was viewed as mere myth. But in a series of studies starting in the late 1900s, researchers discovered that the Greeks were correct. Raw honey contains unique enzymes and natural sugars that provide an immediate, sustained fuel source for the brain without the crash associated with modern processed sugars. The divine spark the philosophers spoke of. Modern science finally confirmed it as one of nature's most effective natural nootropics for instant cognitive energy. Next on our list is dried figs. If you were a student of Plato, you would likely find a bowl of dried figs at the center of every discussion. Figs were so highly valued in Athens that they were considered a sacred food for the intellect. The Greeks believed that figs provided mental endurance, allowing a thinker to remain sharp and calm during hours of complex philosophical inquiry. While it sounded like ancient superstition, the data eventually caught up. In the mid-20th century, scientists found that figs are among the most concentrated sources of magnesium and potassium minerals that are essential for calming the nervous system and supporting brain-cell communication. The Greeks claimed it gave them the stamina to think. Science now confirms it was providing the exact minerals the brain needs to function under pressure. The sacred food of the philosophers was actually a masterclass in neuronutrition. Next is the carbohydrate powerhouse, barley. While the rest of the world saw barley as a simple peasant grain, the Greek philosophers hailed it as the scholar's fuel. They believed that a diet centered on barley provided endurance of the earth, allowing the mind to remain steady and focused from sunrise to sunset. They claimed it prevented the mental fatigue that often plagues a wandering mind. For centuries, this was dismissed as ancient folklore. But in a landmark study from the 1960s, researchers found that the ancient Greeks possessed an understanding of nutrition that was remarkably accurate. Barley has a remarkably low glycemic index, meaning it releases energy into the bloodstream and the brain slowly and steadily over many hours. The philosophers didn't have blood sugar monitors, but they knew exactly which grain kept the internal fires of the mind burning without interruption. What they called a gift from the earth, science now calls the ultimate source of long-term cognitive endurance. Next is pomegranate. In Greek mythology, the pomegranate was a symbol of both life and the deep mysteries of the mind. The philosophers viewed its countless seeds as a metaphor for the seeds of wisdom. They believed that drinking its juice could cleanse the blood and bring a sudden rush of vitality to the brain, especially during the cold winter months in Athens. For centuries, this was viewed as a poetic legend. But in the late 1900s, modern scientific analysis eventually confirmed that the ancient Greeks were entirely accurate. Pomegranates are one of the most powerful natural sources of antioxidants called punicalagins, which modern science has confirmed protect the brain from oxidative stress. The Greeks claimed it brought life to the mind. We now know it provides the very shield our brain cells need to survive and thrive. The humble brain protein, lentils. While the elite of other empires feasted on heavy meats, the serious thinkers of Greece chose a different path. Philosophers like Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, lived almost entirely on a simple diet of lentils. They believed that a heavy stomach created a heavy mind, and that these humble legumes were the secret to maintaining a sharp, unwavering focus. While it sounded like ancient discipline, the data eventually caught up. In the mid-20th century, scientists found that lentils are packed with folate and iron, two nutrients that are essential for oxygen flow to the brain and the production of neurotransmitters. The Stoics claimed it cleared their thinking. Science now confirms it was providing the exact building blocks for mental clarity and focus. The humble lentil was the silent partner of the greatest minds in history. The ocean's smart fuel. The Greeks lived by the sea, and they believed that eating small, oily fish like sardines provided a fluidity to the mind. They claimed that those who ate from the ocean possessed a quicker wit and a faster tongue during debates. To the philosophers, it was as if the speed of the fish was transferred to the speed of their thoughts. For centuries, scholars dismissed this as folklore. But in a landmark series of studies, researchers discovered that the Greeks were exactly right. These small fish are among the highest natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids, which literally make up the structural walls of our brain cells. The Greeks spoke of fluidity. Science now calls it synaptic plasticity, the ability of the brain to process information at high speeds. The ancient belief in a quickened mind was actually a masterclass in neurobiology, the natural mental cleanser. To the ancient healers, garlic was more than just a kitchen staple. It was a powerful tool to awaken the senses. The philosophers believed that a daily dose of garlic could lift the mental fog that often comes with fatigue or illness, allowing a thinker to regain their clarity of vision. While it sounded like a simple home remedy, the data eventually caught up. In the late 1900s, researchers found that the act of compounding garlic, called allicin, dramatically improves blood circulation, specifically to the tiny capillaries in the brain. The Greeks claimed it lifted the fog. Science now confirms it was increasing the flow of oxygen and nutrients to the very center of their intellect. The fog lifter of the ancients is now recognized as one of nature's most potent circulatory boosters, the mind-gut balancer. The final staple of the philosophers' diet was a simple bowl of goat cheese or yogurt. They believed that a balanced stomach led to a balanced emotion, and that this white gold provided a sense of calm and stability during times of intense stress. To the Greeks, logic could not exist without emotional control. While it sounded like ancient philosophy, modern science finally revealed the truth. In the early 2000s, researchers discovered the gut-brain axis, proving that the probiotics in fermented foods like goat cheese directly influence the production of serotonin, the chemical responsible for a stable mood. The Greeks claimed it provided emotional balance. Science now confirms it was nourishing the second brain in their gut. The philosophers weren't just eating for their minds, they were eating for their souls. The diet of the ancient Greeks wasn't just about survival, it was about superiority. From the omega-3 south of the Mediterranean sardine to the steady energy of sun-baked barley, Every bite was a brick in the foundation of Western thought. So, the next time you eat, ask yourself, are you just fueling your body, or are you feeding the genius within? Eat like a philosopher, think like a god. We'll see you in the next video.